Welcome back to Bloom, everybody. It's been a long pandemic, still going somehow, despite what we thought, but it appears the end. We might be rounding third on the end of our lockdown, so we need to start freshening up some of our interpersonal skills, because it's been a while since I looked somebody in the face. We need to adjust to not just being in the Zoom life. So joining us now to discuss relearning how to connect with people is someone who calls himself a mental toughness expert. He's also the author of Maximize Your Emotional Intelligence. We now welcome Eric Rittmeyer. Eric, what qualifies you as a mental toughness expert?
I have absolutely no idea, Danny. I just made it up, woke up one day, I'm like, mental toughness expert sounds good to me. I don't even know. Good question.
No, you got to say you've been through some stuff, and you persevered.
I like to think the Marine Corps helped me out. You know, it's all about emotional control. We're just not taught anything about it. When you hear mental toughness, you think about push-ups and jumping jacks and running 10 miles. But mental toughness in 2 words is emotional control. We're horrible controlling emotions.
Well, thank you for your service, Eric. I appreciate you. I definitely cannot do as many push-ups as you, so I think you're very mentally tough. So what's your number one tip? Where do you want to start, Eric?
There's so many places to start. I think the most important thing, Danny, is to realize that, you know, as a society right now, even prior to this pandemic, we just got to this point where everybody was so angry, right? We're just so fueled by the minute somebody says something we don't like, we get upset with them. We default to these defense mechanisms of name calling. So I think where it starts is with refinding our sense of humor, just goofing off and being silly. Like, everybody wants to laugh, tell funny jokes, goof off with the person that's waiting in line in front of you in the grocery store. Just be silly again. A sense of humor goes a long way.
I think if someone who was in the Marine Corps is telling you to have more sense of humor, you should probably listen to them.
That's the sign, right? It's all the wheels have fallen off when you got some. That's a good point, actually, but it's true. Think about it. Like, nobody likes to laugh anymore, Daddy. We're always so serious. Everybody's always takes everything and we process it emotionally. We take a hit to it. We feel like somebody's trying to be mean to us when they're just trying to be silly. We can't laugh anymore. We've just gotten so angry for some reason.
One tip you had that I find very interesting is that you say to not get distracted in conversation. And I find that hard because I'm always thinking about, hey, are my parents going to get a vaccine this week? Is my grandma going to be okay? Like, I'm thinking about everything else that's going on. So how do you stay focused when you're talking to somebody, Eric?
Yeah, this is tough to do, Dan, because, I mean, we're in the social media age, right? It's more about social media than social interaction. So it's difficult to do. I think one of the main things is to take away the things that can potentially distract us, mainly our phones, right? I mean, we can't live without our phones. What does it say to somebody when you sit down with them face to face and not turn your phone on vibrate, right? It still vibrates. You got that person doing this the whole time, right? I'm not talking about that. Take the phone, put it in the car, leave it somewhere where it's not even near you. Be totally engulfed in that person. Remain focused on them. Let them finish their statements. Ask questions about them. Be involved with them. Leave the distractions aside. Anything that's out of your way, you're better off.
Is there anything that bothers you more when you're just starting a story and you can tell a person you're talking to is like, yep, and you know that the rest of the story really isn't going to register, and you're like, can I just restart when you're done with your email?
It's so funny you say that, too, because here's the issue. We're horrible listeners. This is another one of my tips. We have to get much better at what I call being professional listeners. We listen with the intent to reply, not with the intent to understand. So just like you said, when we're listening to somebody talk, we're only listening long enough to formulate our response. Once we have that response, we don't care what you say after that. It's down to the phone, it's up to the TV, it's looking at the watch, because we've already developed that response. As these interpersonal skills start to come out, we have to learn to listen to the other person, truly listen, try to be involved, try to see where they're coming from, have follow-up questions. Don't look at your phone, it's so annoying.
You had just broke down how television works, so I'm going to tell you what my strategy is when I'm doing interviews like this. Usually I figure out what I'm going to say pretty quickly next. I take that, I put it in my back pocket, and then I just listen. And that way I know I have something just in case I need it, but ultimately I should hear what you're going to say so I can respond to that just in case it doesn't actually have to do with the question I have saved in my back pocket.
And it's so funny you say that, Danny, because I get this all the time when I do segments like this on this topic about being professional listeners. And it's so funny because you guys are so good at this on television. The difference is you're able to process very quickly, have a response, but not allow that to adversely impact what I say after you have the response. 99.9% of people can't do that. They listen, they get their response, everything else is Charlie Brown talk. So you guys are a unique bunch in television.
You would think, and you would hope. Eric, I've really enjoyed talking to you. You're definitely mentally tough. Thank you again for your service, and thank you again for helping people out. We appreciate your time.
You're the man, Dave. Thanks for having me, sir. I appreciate it.
No problem, my friend. Everybody, his website is mentaltoughness.speaker.com. I really enjoyed talking to him, so I hope you did too. And we'll be right back with more Bloom.